Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 377 of Drunk Dishes Podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler. And joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Dude, I've just been working and playing some games. That's pretty short and sweet for me. I mean, that's pretty much what I have been doing.
Yeah. Very nice, man. Very nice.
But how have you been, Tyler?
I'm doing okay. I've been pretty much the exact same way. Working and playing some games. I beat 3 games this week. So,
Damn.
well, 2 games and an expansion. And I played another one. So, yeah. But just doing the same. Not too much more exciting for me. You know what? Fuck it. I guess we'll just jump into it because we've both been playing some games. And quite frankly, we have a decent amount of news this week. And we have a second episode. We're going to do we're recording right after this. We're going to do my bracket. Which will come out in a few days. And actually, what's really funny is, so we recorded both of those episodes last Sunday night. And I put our lips in to release the your episode on Thursday morning.
Right.
So just break them up over a few days. And I was bored at work on Tuesday night. I was like, I ran out of podcasts to listen to. I'm like, I'm not really in a music mood. It's like I just want to finish the last couple hours of this day. So I logged into our Lipson account on my phone and released the episode Tuesday night so I can listen to it at work. that's how much I had a lot of fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun with that episode, and I was like, oh man, that was good. Like I listened to it again when I edited it, and it really had to edit. It was pretty easy, but I just basically listened to it again, and then then listen to it again. So I recorded it with you Sunday night, listened to it again on Monday, and then listened to it again on Tuesday. So it was a fun episode. So I've been looking forward to doing mine all week. But we'll do my bracket after this one. That will go up probably Wednesday or Thursday as well. But yeah, fun fact though for mine, I was like, I only remember when I typed all of my stuff in on Sunday night while I was editing last week's shows, and I only remember 2 of the first rounds, and that's it. So that'll be nice for so it'll be a little fresh. Like, so all of yours were pretty much surprises, and then for the most part, mine will be surprises as well for myself. But like I said, let's just jump right into what we've been playing. Gables, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You know what? I want you to start because I'm interested in seeing what you've beaten.
Okay. So first off, we talked about last few weeks. I don't want to spend too much time on it too. We have plenty of shit to talk about this week. But I beat Ghost of Tsushima.
Damn.
I played a bunch of it on Monday. Woke up early while Courtney was sleeping, just churning through it. And I played a little bit. She ended up having to go somewhere, and I had to go to I had to work Monday evening. And I'm like, it was like 4:15. I had to be at work at 5, and I'm just like, fuck. It's like I did the big final boss, and there's one mission left. I'm like, I don't have time to beat this. I'll get back to it. And came back. Was it Wednesday? Was it Wednesday night? I came back to it, and I ended up I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit down. Courtney fell asleep early, and I'm like, I'm gonna go out there and just knock out this last mission. 15 minutes left is all I had. That was it. I could have easily beat the game that day before I went to work. But I don't know. I mean, for the most part, I've already talked about a lot. I enjoy this game a lot. It's definitely in the mid tier of like the PlayStation 1 games, like our PlayStation 1 games, PS4 exclusive games, where it's like I feel like they've been killing this generation for me personally. But I think for a lot of people, like the Bloodborne, Spider-Man, God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, like all these great games. It's not. I don't think it's in that tier. I think it's one notch below it, but still a hell of a great game. It's not. I don't think it'll be like. I think this. I can see this like like Game Awards possibly being like one of the nominees, but I don't think it's a serious contender for it this year. And I feel like that's gonna be the case for a lot of people. Like, I think it's gonna be one of those games that will be like, and it'll be like I think a lot of people's like top 10 list, maybe some top 5 lists, but I don't think it's gonna contend with some of the other big shit we've had this year. But no, I think it's really great. Like I said, I enjoy a lot. I just hit that burnout on the open world burnout like I do. And I think a lot of people do in games where you just do a lot of side shit until you're like, all right, I need to beat this game. And I think the story was good. It was okay. The characters were pretty good, but just didn't meet the levels of what you expect from like PlayStation exclusive story games, like at least a story for games. But it's still like a hell of a great game. Like it's basically, like I said before, and a lot of people are saying it's Assassin's Creed Samurai, which if you want that and that sounds great to you, like you're gonna love this game because that's what I've wanted for a decade now, and a lot of people have wanted for a long time. So, really good game. Next up, Gables. It finally came out.
What?
The game of the year, Fast and Furious Crossroads. It's fucking terrible. I picked it up Friday after work Friday. It was really frustrating. Courtney was having girls' night. She's like, all right, well, I'll go have girls' night so you can play your new game. I'm like, fuck yes. And I downloaded it, installed everything because I actually got it physically. Because it's one of the very few games I buy. Like, so mostly digital. And I'm like, okay, I know this game. Like, I looked it up and it's only like, there was like YouTube things like the full game out like the day before. And I'm like, oh, it's literally like a 3-hour game, like 4-hour game. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, I'll probably knock this out fast. And I went to go. I'm like, I'm gonna beat this Friday night. And I fucking installed it. It was like a 23 gigabyte install. And then I went to go play it. And for some reason, it didn't automatically start the 24 gigabyte download. So, and for some reason, even though I don't have like, I have pretty good internet. It's like 200 megabytes. And like everything else was working fine. I was able to do everything else fine. But for some reason, my PS4 would not fucking download this thing. It took 2 hours to download this patch, and I have no idea why. Everything else was running fine. I even checked my internet speed on my PS4, and it was saying it was like 180, 190, and it was like, I'm like, why the fuck is this downloading so slow? So ended up only being able to play it for like a half an hour on Friday night, which I was pissed about. Woke up early Saturday morning and just plowed through this fucking game. It's awful. It plays like shit. It runs like shit. I fell through like the world a few times, and I was just like maniacally laughing at a few points. Courtney watched me play like the last like hour plus of it. I mean, it sounds like they had like 5 hours with Tyrese, Vin Diesel, and Michelle Rodriguez, because those were the only 3 people they got from the main games. Like they had like 5 hours to like, all right, here's your lines, say them, or like they had like. They just did it over the phone, and it's like, all right, just read this fucking line, and that's fine. And like it was so deadpan, like there was like no emotion in it. I mean, if this would have been fine like 15 years ago, maybe, especially for like those like movie tie-in games, like okay, this is what we expect. But it's like it's bad even for those. I think like in this game graphically, I don't think this game would impress us graphically in 2010. I think Halo 4 on the 360 was graphically more impressive than this game is. Yeah, it looks bad. I mean, I understand this game they had to make it in like 9 months, and it was supposed to come out in May because the Fast 9 was coming out in May, and then obviously because everything going on with COVID, the movie got delayed, so the game got delayed to August. But they didn't keep working on the game because the game had to be done by like April, and yeah, I don't know. It's not good. It's just it's so boring. Like there's so many parts of this. Like I said, I probably beat the campaign in a little under 4 hours. And a good chunk of it is just you driving to like locations you need to be at, but there's like no talking, or it's just silence. You're just driving around. And I don't think there's any like difficulty level for it. And it's so easy. I think I failed one thing. It's just because I had to beat this, destroy this tank in a certain time period. And that was the only reason I lost. And I was like 1 hit away from beating it, 1 or 2 hits away from beating it. And I beat it easily in my next try. But it's like even the checkpointing's bad. Where this feels like a fucking like everything the way it's like it just shows you like how far we've come in gaming over the last like especially just generation, but even last generation. Where it's like checkpointing's not bad. Like you expect this like some of these checkpointings like you expect this like on like PS2 like era kind of shit. Like the way it feels, like the way the game feels. Like I felt like not only was I trying to complete the tasks in the game, but I was fighting the game itself to complete the task.
Wow.
Or it's just so clunky, it doesn't run well. Like it's like rubber banding, like really bad rubber banding when you're like trying to like catch up with stuff. Like you can see like the meters that's ahead of you. It'll tell you like you're 100 meters away from this person, and then like it's faster than you. All of a sudden you're like for no reason you're going a straightaway. Now you went from like they were like slowly they were getting away from you very slowly faster. Like they're getting away from you like, all right, 10 seconds later, now they're 105 meters away from me. Now they're 110 meters away from me. And then 30 seconds later, you're right up on their ass. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like like the final mission was extremely frustrating. Where like, that was the whole fucking final mission where you had like stop this rocket from blowing up and causing a bunch of damage, like destroying like New Orleans basically. And I was just like, I was fighting because like you only have so long to do this shit, but it's like randomly the fucking rocket would be faster than you. And then you would just be right up like underneath the fucking rocket. And it's just like, yeah, it was, and that like the whole game was like that. Like it's broken. It's not broken. It doesn't run well. It looks bad. The voice acting is shit. If it literally feels like you expect this from like this is like a 2007 type of game, the way it feels and the way it looks and everything. It's just bad, and I fucking love it, Gables. It's great. Like I've talked to people into buying this game. I don't know if I'm doing God's work or not, or I'm going to hell for this. But I don't know, man. It's like I beat the game. I was like, Courtney's like, "Are you liking this game?" I'm like, "Yeah, no." And someone's like, "Is this game like, is it playable or is it garbage?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, it is." Or like, "No, is it fun or is it garbage?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, yeah, it definitely is." Like, and I had the guy at work, and I was talking about it too, and he's like, I was telling him, he's like, "I'm buying my copy tomorrow." I'm like, "Dude, don't do that. Like, this game is gonna be like $30 by the end of the month or sometime in, like, I mean, with the next 6 weeks, you will see this game for $30, and that's time to buy it." Like, I'm gonna like I looked it up. I can trade it for like $30 at GameStop, because this is why I bought it physically, is because I was like, I knew I'm gonna beat this game in a weekend, and I'm gonna trade it. Yeah, it's I don't know. If you are a Fast and Furious fan and you can get past all the other bullshit and you just want some of that, some just goofiness and excitement. I get a little bit of excitement. Like, it feels like, as I was playing, you remember that Need for Speed Run game they had?
Yes.
Where it's like they had like they put that story campaign in it, and it was like a lot of people hated it, but I thought it was actually pretty good. Like, it was just it was Call of Duty Need for Speed. This is what they're going for. It's just a bad version of that, really. But it's just got Fast and Furious in the title with the character.
Right.
So I don't know. I can't defend it in any way at all. But it's like, I regret my purchase? No. I'm happy I played it. I wish it was a better game. Most definitely. But yeah, I don't recommend this to anybody. If you're like I said, if you're like, you love the Fast and Furious movies like I do, and you like games, like, okay, this is bad, but wait for it to be like $20-$30. Even at $30, it's a bit of a stretch. But so I beat that. And then so a few weeks ago, I've been talking about this back when I announced it, the Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath expansion.
Yes.
I was talking about that a while back. I'm like, oh, I want to buy it. I was really looking forward to playing this. Reviews came out. I want to see what they said. People said it was good, but it was short. Like, it's about 2.5 hours maybe. And I actually started playing it this morning. I woke up early once again, and I started playing it this morning. And then Courtney went out with some friends again tonight. So I ended up playing that a good chunk while she was getting ready. And I just beat that one as well before all this. It's pretty good. I mean, like I said, if you're just buying this for Aftermath, I would say definitely pick it up at that $30 mark. If you don't already have... like, I had MK11, bought it at launch, I beat it, and I sold it. That's the reason, like Fast Furious, I bought it at launch. I knew I was going to play the story and probably never touch it again, and that's pretty much what happened. Then I didn't think they were going to come up with expansions, but comes out with that. But they have like all the character packs in there too, as much like the first character packs are in there. So there's a lot of extra content for that as well if you want to get more into it. And plus, if you haven't played the original game, it's definitely worth it at $60. But yeah, I went through, played it. It's fine. It's cool because they brought back like Sing Song, some of the old characters, because they kill characters off a lot in this game, and then they'll find ways to bring them back, some of them back here and there in interesting ways. But I don't know, like, the story, the story of Mortal Kombat's always kind of dumb. It got really done with 10, and even 9 was wasn't crazy, but 10 was pretty dumb, but it was fun dumb, and then 11 was kind of like, all right, the game's still fun, but it's like, I'm not really digging the story. And the way it ends, spoiler, I guess, for MK11 story, but like, Liu Kang ends up absorbing Raiden's powers, and Raiden becomes immortal, and then like, Liu Kang becomes like a fire and ice god, and then he defeats the bad guy at the end, and like, but he's like stuck, like they're stuck out of time, like the timeline's destroyed, and they have no way of bringing it back and like fixing the timeline. So then Shang Tsung, who got killed in MK9, comes back, finds a way to come back. There's a whole thing around it, and you like him, and like you have to like join with him in a group, and then you have to go through and go back in time to be like right before all this shit happened, and like fix the timeline, and also still beat the bad guy at the same time. And
that sounds pretty goofy.
It's goofy. It's fine. Like, I don't know. Like, I know you enjoy the NetherRealm games. I would definitely. I don't think you've ever played MK11, but if you haven't, like, I don't know. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's fine. But I mean, I think more so I enjoyed like the Fast and Furious and the MK11 Aftermath DLC, because like I've talked about this a lot lately, where it's like we've been playing some dark heavy games. I have in the last couple months, where it's like, it's already a dark heavy time. 2020 has been a pretty shitty year.
Yeah.
And then I played Resident Evil 2, 3, 7, Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima. Some not very happy games to be playing. It's like, so it's like, I mean, like all of them were really good games. I enjoyed all those games, but it's just like I like been felt for a while now. Even going into Ghost, I'm just like, I was hoping Paper Mario would be better because I'm like, I just need that fun game to play. And it's like, when Paper Mario wasn't the game I wanted to be, so it's like having Fast and Furious and MK11 this weekend, like just those fun dumb games. It was nice to have, especially because it's just like I am. Oh Jesus Christ, Louis barking. But it was nice just to have those because like I needed that. I needed these to like just have fun and just like not take it too seriously, not think about it. I don't like like Last of Us like destroyed me emotionally, like this whole year has for a lot of us. So yeah, I played and beat all of those. I played some Fall Guys as well, the free PS Plus game. I played a handful of games. And there's some issues with the online working, not so great sometimes, but a blast of a game. I'll talk about more next week. I'm going to play like 8 or 9 games so far, but I'm going to play some more throughout the week because I've pretty much knocked out my entire backlog now. I don't have anything I want to play until I don't think I'm getting anything until the end of the month. To Tell Me Why and then Tony Hawk. So yeah, I'm going to be playing a bunch of that for the next few weeks. But that's what I'm playing. Gables, what about you?
All right, so there have been a couple things I have been playing. A continuation from last week. I still pressed onward with Soul Calibur 6.
Nice.
Now, last time that we talked, I went through the entirety of the normal mode for, normal, hard, and very hard, was it, for Soul Calibur 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I did exactly like I was going to say last week, as I went through the legendary difficulty. I didn't have to, but I decided to get things on the legendary difficulty with my character, Killick. And it was definitely a challenge. Obviously so. There were a couple of fights that lasted more than, say, 10 minutes. The battle I had against Cervantes, this evil pirate, pretty much, it took me about 22 minutes for me to beat this dude because he was definitely a fucking task and a half. The other one I would have to say was Mitsurugi, who is a samurai. Definitely a little bit more technical in terms of his fighting stance, his fighting style. Took me a little bit of more difficulty with that. But I'll tell you what, man, when you go with fighting game difficulties and one of the most bullshit terms of like bosses at the end of like an arcade mode, Inferno is definitely one of those. Definitely one of those characters. Now, the only way you can actually face off against Inferno, I come to find out, is if you go through legendary difficulty, because he is the final boss inside of the arcade mode. So previously, through the other modes, through normal, hard, and very hard, I was not able to face off against Inferno. Yeah, even so on easy mode as well. But what was interesting, facing off against him in hard mode, I think I would get like some form of advantage against him. And what ends up happening was, he ends up doing like about, I kid you not, a couple of 5 to 7 hit combos. Right in the middle. While I'm trying to go through an offensive, spree. And man, I lost quite a few times against Inferno. But what was kind of hilarious, I was at that point in my mind, like, you know what? I'm going to go with one move and see what happens. And so I pressed down triangle with Killick, which does this move to where he slams his pole, slams his freaking pole, down to the ground, right? Twice. So what ends up happening is, I end up locking freaking Inferno inside this loop, where I kept on going through, okay, down triangle, down triangle, down triangle. And this is his down attack while in a neutral stance, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I beat Inferno on legendary difficulty. I had spent 10 to 12 minutes fighting this damn final boss. I was having my ass handed to me because he kept going into these fucking combos and going into these freaking finishers, right? That would literally take almost half my life bar. And all I had to do was stay in one place and keep slamming my fucking staff down on him over and over and over again with one move. And when I did that, and granted, this is you have to get 3 falls, or so. You have to win 3 rounds in order to pass him. I did that each round, and the only damage I ever suffered during those 3 rounds was maybe like half damage because I freaking mistimed it once. So, without further ado, yes, I did beat the Legendary difficult. I did beat the arcade mode on Legendary. And after, that was like about, what was it? It took me an hour to beat Soul Calibur 6's arcade mode on Legendary. I went through the easy mode, not even 5 minutes. Because I did that right after I finished Legendary. So that's done. That's over with. I got through the arcade mode. So I went through and I focused on what was next inside of Soul Calibur 6. There is this first player mode, which you go through with your created character and whatsoever. It was a little bit more slow and monotonous, so I went through the other story mode. Libra of Soul or something like that it's called. Libra of Soul. This is the main story mode inside Soul Calibur 6. So the main story revolves around 3 characters. Killick, who is the main character. Maxi, who is a pirate that uses nunchaku. And like Zhonghua, which is this female swords woman that could do all sorts of various like combos and this and that. But those 3 are on a journey to go through and eliminate Soul Edge. And so this story, you go and face off against other random characters and stuff from Soul Calibur, like classic Soul Calibur games, like Mitsurugi, like Taki and stuff, like Nightmare, and then Inferno. Inferno's that's like the final boss in that entire story mode. I actually really enjoyed it for what it was because voice acting was fine. I kind of liked the aspect where they didn't overdo it with a 3D animation for stuff. They only used it at certain points. But it had these sort of like comic sort of cutscenes to where you have like the portraits of characters and then they'll go through and like if they're happy or sad or whatsoever, it'll reflect upon their face inside of like a comic like portrait form. It was fine. I thought that aesthetic and that look and appeal was fine. All the other stages that I was fighting upon definitely had their different quirks, definitely had a lot of great, fantastic scenery. Oh man, especially when you're going through and playing against like all sorts of different enemies and stuff and all these stock characters that you'll go through, which you'll definitely play a bunch of those. But the main story mode of the Libra of Soul took me roughly, I believe it was 2.5, 3 hours at most. It was fine. It was good for what it was. But the best part about it is you can actually go through, after you're done with the main story, you can go through each character inside of the cast of Soul Calibur 6. So, as of this moment, I've went through Killick, Maxi, Zhang, Killick and Maxi, Taki, Mitsurugi. So I went through like about, 4, 5 characters in that retrospect. And you know what? Yeah, I did beat Soul Calibur 6. I beat its main story mode. I absolutely dominated the freaking arcade mode, which, oh god, I never want to play that game on Legendary difficulty ever again. Because that literally was a nightmare. That was a little bit too much too soon. But the overall quality of the gameplay is fantastic. I do love how the characters feel familiar from past Soul Calibur games, but they are definitely brimmed with quality in regards to love and care that was placed inside not only the character models, but also in terms of the gameplay aspects. Because of the consequential updates this game has had since release, it feels smooth. There are definitely more content stuff that's being added. I mean, Setsuna, I think this character that was revealed last week is currently available. I haven't had time to play with her in specifics, but she comes with a new stage and all sorts of various other costume stuff. So we go from one fighting game to another fighting game, as I bought another PS4 game today. On PSN, there was a game that was for sale. Street Fighter V.
Oh, nice.
Street Fighter V, that whole bundle that released this year for like $30, included everything up until like currently what it is. What's good about this game so far? Well, there's a couple things I like about not Soul Calibur, but Street Fighter V so far. Game looks good. visual fidelities and stuff. It is brimming with content now, 4 years after release. That was one of the things that prevented me from buying the game when it released in 2016. It was a shell. The online play wasn't fantastic. It was piss poor at best. You did not have any type of major like first party first party, but like single player content other than like certain shallow story mode things with like maybe a few fights and that's it. But this game, I kid you not, is brimming with content because not only are you included with like season 1 of Street Fighter V, but you also got the season 2 stuff and even everything after the arcade mode stuff. So quintessentially, this game in its current form has a lot of content. There's 40 characters. There's like 30 something stages, I want to say. From what I've played so far, it definitely is classic Street Fighter. I'm familiar with the moves, the combos of classic characters. I have not yet experimented in terms of different characters because I've been mostly playing as Ryu, who is the easiest character in my personal opinion to pick up and play other than Ken. I decided to go through some bit of the arcade mode stuff with Ryu, and there's something fascinating with the arcade mode inside Street Fighter V. What it does, it actually goes through a specific types of arcade modes that you can go through. And what I mean by that is each arcade mode is directly correlating to a previous Street Fighter game in the franchise. So you'll have the current moves, current fighters, but say you want to go through and play the arcade mode in the original Street Fighter. Well, you can do that. There's 4 rounds. There's actually 4 matches you can do. So each of these arcade modes have structures of how many matches you can fight in a row, how the music changes, what characters you're going to be fighting against in this arcade mode setup. I really like it because so far I've done the original Street Fighter, which ironically enough is it's a game that I have beat, that I did rebeat this year, and then Street Fighter 2, the World Warrior. As it stands right now, I've been beating the arcade modes on normal. I'm finding normal to be a little bit too simplistic, too easy for me. But I think that's because I'm very familiar with Ryu, with that retrospect. I'm highly thinking about maybe trying it on a higher difficulty for those particular arcade modes if I feel like it. But that still leaves like arcade modes for Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 4, and obviously Street Fighter 5. So there are definitely plenty of modes for me to go through, and I haven't even touched the story mode. Right now I'm kind of overwhelmed with the content that's going on, because you literally have all these characters you can try, all these different modes, a story mode. If you really wanted to, you can go on to the rank and casual matches and this and that. But I'll tell you what, if you want to complete this game, it's going to take you quite a long time. Because I looked at the trophies in regards to how this game is. They want you, if you want to earn some trophies, you got to spend a lot of time to maybe play 300 matches online, or win 100 matches, or maybe win 300 matches online. And I'll tell you what, man, that's a big time sink. That definitely is. When they went through this trophy list, they expected like fans to really enjoy this game and also to really go through and go the extra mile in terms of whatever. But another reason why I purchased Street Fighter V was announcement this past week, actually last week, because a couple of the creators of Street Fighter V went into detail about the final season of Street Fighter V. And in this final season, they announced not 1, not 2, but 4 characters out of their 5 that they were going to go through. And so their initial roadmap is going to be from like the end of this year all the way up to close to the end of 2021. So we're going to be seeing a lot of support for Street Fighter V up until at least by the end of 2021. Which that makes me excited because, for one, it's one of the last fighting games I haven't had a chance to play through, other than MK, and other than Guilty Gear Strive, which is coming out by the end of this year. But the announcements for characters really made me happy because the first character that's going to be released is a parody character by the name of Dan Hibiki. Now, Dan Hibiki is a goofball. He has all this other like goofy antics that I really love. But the reason why he's a fan favorite is he's a direct parody from back in the 90s of another fighting game franchise that was produced by SNK, and that was King of Fighters. Now, inside King of Fighters, there is a bunch of cast of characters from other SNK games, right? And there's one, Art of Fighting, which has a character by the name of Ryo. A lot of the moves and a lot of the mannerisms and stuff of Ryo was inspiration for the creation by Capcom of Dan Hibiki, because he has all these different types of moves, all these different things that are very similar. Quintessentially, he's a parody character of this other character. But a lot of his taunts, a lot of his mannerisms, a lot of his like shit-eating grin and all this other stuff makes me very excited. But we've got not only that, but returning characters and stuff from Street Fighter Alpha and Street Fighter 3 with Rose and Oro, respectively. But the most exciting announcement in terms of a character reveal, especially from longtime fighting game fans, is the reveal of a Rival Schools character by the name of Akira. Personally, I never played that series. That was a niche fighting game series on the PS1, Rival Schools. It had 2 games, but it has a cult classic-like following, similar to some other like games back in the day, like say Earthbound or this or that. But it's got a lot of fighting game enthusiasts excited because, for one, mentioning of Rival Schools in 2020 from like fucking old fighting games and stuff from the mid 90s, you know, that's unheard of for classic That's unheard of for Capcom currently. But that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to invest in Street Fighter V, and so far it's been fun. I've enjoyed myself. I've only spent maybe about an hour, maybe close to an hour and a half playing the game. But I can't wait to sink my teeth into more of the content, because I really want to go through the story mode. I really want to try a bunch of different characters, especially some of the newer ones, because some of them are pretty interesting. But I have been playing one other game, and this is because a couple of friends have been messaging me because they were interested in finding a third person in order to play this game because of all the content that's going to be releasing by the end of this year. And what game is that?
Oh, God, I think I know what it is.
Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what ended up happening last night, where I get this message from one of my friends, one of my old coworkers and stuff, and it's like, hey, you know what? If you want to do this, this, and this, and that, you know, hey, let's play some Destiny 2, you know? It's like, I'm not opposed to it. So I go through, I played a little bit with, a couple hours with him and another friend last night on Destiny 2. I've actually joined up with a clan in terms of, that's run by my friend's friend, who lives in Arizona or something, and she has this direct clan of like 39, 40 other different people. But, to be perfectly honest with you, I had picked up Destiny 2 Forsaken game from Walmart for like about $5. So I know I'm not going to touch Shadowkeeper. I'm not going to touch a lot of that content probably until November. But honestly, I'm not going to go into too much detail of what I'm doing, so I'm just basically playing catch-up with Destiny 2. I'm using my Titan character. I'm going through a couple different missions, trying to get at least up to snuff with my friends, who have like over 1,000 light, and here I am, close to about 770.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, Tyler.
All right. Well, that's very cool, man. All right. Well, I'm glad you're getting into it. I've been like curious about it, but I think I'm gonna wait till it comes out, because we're gonna have like all of the stuff come out on Game Pass.
Dude, I know,
in
right?
November, or maybe it's already out. I can't remember. But I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for that, and I might just pick it up and play it on there because it's gonna bring a progression over. So
yeah, exactly. That's one of the best parts. Even with like the Bungie website, you can log into different types of like tags and link everything together.
Yeah, so that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. If I do get back into it, but yeah, very cool. We've definitely been playing a lot of games over the last week. Yeah, now we're just we got a little bit of a gap for the next stuff though, so it'll be interesting next month or so. But we do have a plethora of things to talk about as well. Starting off with we had the PlayStation State of Play, and I talked about it. There's been rumors for a while. There's gonna be one on August 6th. and the rumors are gonna have another one August 13th, but that one's kind of more flimsy, as it's been said. But they end up on Monday. They announced that they're having a state of play, but there was no pre-order stuff, no big PS5 announcements. It was just gonna be about third-party stuff and games, which ended up being true. It was about 45 minutes. Start off, we had Crash Bandicoot 4. They announced new playable characters, some new modes where you can play it like in reverse, or you can the next time you play the game, it'll be an underwater level, or it'll be black and white, and you got to bring the color back to it. And just showed off with inverted levels. There was a couple new characters. You're gonna Dingo Dial, I think, as a playable character. I don't think we're gonna go game by game on this one, because I don't think there's anything really big to talk about. So I'm just gonna run through what was mentioned. Hitman Trilogy, which was already announced to be coming in January, or Hitman 3, was coming to PS5 in January. We'll also have PS VR support when it comes out in January, but also they will bring PSVR support back to the original 2 as well. The next one, Braid Anniversary Edition, which I don't know what anniversary it is, because it'll be the 13th anniversary. I don't know why that's a big deal, but they're upgrading it. It's from 2008. It's coming to PS4 and PS5 in early 2021. The new edition, they hand painted for modern high resolution, is what they said. So it'll be like 9 times. The graphics are 9 times better than what it was back then. Also, new animations, improved sound, music, blah blah. And they also did developer commentary for the game too. Splunky 2 got a release date of September 15th for PS4. Vader Immortal, which has been a bunch of there's chapters. It's been on Oculus, I think, for a while now. It's coming August 25th to PSVR. I don't know if there's any price on that yet. We have the Control expansion. That's the expansion number 2. I think it's the second and final one. This one, it's called AEW or AEW. It's the wrestling company.
It's called AEW.
AWE, which
Kenny Omega just lies into the freaking conundrum of the Control.
That'd be great. That actually be cool with that. But AWE, people keep calling it's the Alan Wake experience, but it's not. I can't remember. It's I can't remember what it actually means, but Alan Wake, there's a glimpse of Alan Wake in it, and that's been the tease for a while. A lot of people, a big reason to buy the expansion is it's kind of like the Nintendo thing, where it's the first one's so, but the second one's the one that we really want. But you got to buy both to get the second one.
Yeah.
So this is what it sounds like. It's a crossover. So this one actually makes me, because I didn't realize that about the Season Pass one, but I have it. And I never went back and played the first one, or the first expansion. So that comes out August 27th. So I'm curious about read down all that and playing it. Tim is coming to PS5. I don't think there's a release period on it. But this game, I feel like Pokemon Company should probably sue. This game is a complete ripoff of I've never seen a game try to rip off Pokemon so bad. Even to the music, where I'm you are one symbol away from being fucking sued. It is a blatant ripoff. Pokemon, just graphically, it looks. I don't know if it's different. It's art style, I guess, but
right.
Next up, we had Hood Outlaws and Legends. It was announced for PS5. It's basically I don't know, like a Rainbow Six Siege kind of thing, but with it's Assassin's Creed era, it's the Britain Dark Ages. It's a third person 4v4 multiplayer heist where you both have I think you both have you have you're both trying to do the same thing, and you gotta fight each other in the you're robbing somebody, and you fight over, you get to kill each other and then take the loot or whatever. Then we got some more. We got Bug Snacks gameplay. The Pathless was shown off. That was shown off a lot. There was a long teaser for that. Eon Must Die was announced. That's coming to PS4 and 5. That ended up having a big controversy after the fact. Ano, which was a JRPG. There was the Genshin Impact gameplay trailer that was shown off. That game looks like a horny Breath of the Wild. The Pedestrian, which is you're like the sign, the person you see the stick figure, or not stick figure, but the person you see on bathroom signs and shit, the woman with the dress and the guy, and you gotta go from street sign to street sign and solve puzzles and rotate the signs around to get out of there. Auto chess was shown off, and then it ended with a very long gameplay like overview, I guess, of Godfall, which is like that was like the first PS5 game announced. That's supposed to be coming out. That's supposed to be a launch game as well. I don't know, Gables. We both watched it. What do you think of the whole thing?
Honestly, I was mixed behind the whole thing. I think the best thing that they showed was at the beginning of their state of play was with Crash 4 because
Mm.
everything else after that was very much of a step down in my personal opinion. Crash 4, that game looks good. I feel that the not Big Carrier's Visions, but whoever, Beanox. I think Beanox has done a great job in terms of,
With Crash 4?
yes, with Crash
Yeah,
4.
it's Toys for Bob.
Okay, Toys for Bob, my mistake.
Yeah, they did the Spyro remakes.
Okay, Toys for Bob, I personally believe, have done a fantastic job in making this feel and look like a legitimate Crash Bandicoot game, in the stylings of some of the older games. Obviously, I love the look of it. I love a lot of the design choices. You get a whole bunch of different characters you can go through and play as. It has that classic platforming style, which I'm interested in. And honestly, that game along with another game where you have you have that hawk or something like that.
Oh, Pathless.
Pathless. I thought that Pathless looked pretty good as well. Out of the entirety of that whole state and play, Crash 4, Pathless, and then another game which I thought looked all right and stuff like that was the Bug Snacks gameplay. Because
Mm.
that is okay. That looked like it had like some sort of like first person sort of like RPG elements to it. I do like a bit of the humor in regards to it, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing where that goes. Everything else, I wasn't interested in, and especially with Godfall, I thought Godfall. Let me tell you something right here. I thought Godfall was so boring that I did not finish the rest of the fucking gameplay demonstration.
Yeah.
Because they presented how they did, and they're doing another bunch of various gameplay stuff, and while in the middle of watching that and stuff, I started thinking like, this really looks like a generic third-person action game. And then all of a sudden, when I get towards the thing, I started to try to fall asleep. I'm like, oh no, my attention is going away. That's not good.
Yeah. I finished it just because I was hoping that like, I assumed there was like one more thing.
That's why I
and
zoomed to the end of it. Because I'm like, is
Oh,
there
did
one
you?
more
Okay,
thing? It's
yeah.
like, no, there's not.
Yeah, I was watching it live, so unfortunately I was not able to do that. But yeah, if I would have known, I would have backed out because that game just looks like the most generic fucking rip off every other game that's trying to do. Like it's supposed to be like like a Destiny style game where it's always online and the constantly updates to it. Games of service is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like they even showed like animation where it's like like a shield, the way the guy like moves the shield, like and it compared it to the God of War from 2018, and it's just like fucking pixel for pixel a rip off of that.
Right.
It just, I mean, it was a 9-minute long trailer or a 9-minute long gameplay thing, and yeah, I was just like, the more they show that game, like I have become less and less interested. I was never really interested in the game to begin with, even when it showed off when it was announced at the Game Awards. I'm like, all right, it's a teaser trailer. But I'm
Right.
like, all right, whatever. And then just like everything they've shown since then has completely ruined any like chance of me wanting to play the game. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. Is like, if this wouldn't have ended it, I don't know what could have ended it out of all of this. I don't know what the next most exciting thing could have been for like the mainstream people. They get the most buzz out of it. But yeah, this was. I mean, I get it. It's one of your big, maybe your second or third biggest PS5 launch game, assume from what we know right now. And yeah, that doesn't look great. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Now, what?
I'll tell you what. For as much as I've seen Godfall, Gearbox has done a poor job in terms of not only doing like reveal trailers for the game, especially during like PlayStation's last major reveal for all the game contents for the PS5 and stuff, and have that fucking hip hop trailer, that hip hop music over the trailer for Godfall and that stuff. I thought that was a poor choice in terms of the reveal for that because they did not match.
That's right. Forgot about that.
They did not match the tone of what the game was. I mean, the music was fine, but it felt so out of place during the reveal of Godfall. And then finally, when we do see a actual full-on demonstration in terms of Godfall's gameplay and how the mechanics work and everything else in that. Honestly, even after all that reveal, it still looks boring as hell.
Yeah.
And quite honest, and to be perfectly quite honest with you, I feel from what I've seen, even though it's not a final product, this is probably going to be one of the most disappointing games come the rest of this year. That's how I personally feel about it.
I don't know if it'll be the most disappointing because I don't think anybody's really. I don't think there's really gonna be a lot of anticipation for it. I think it'll sell well if it's a PS5 launch game because it's a big game at launch. But, yeah, I forgot about that fucking last one we saw with it. But it's like that'd be like they announced NBA Street 4 and they put Bob Dylan over it. You know, it's like, it's just, okay, slam dunk. Yeah, and I'm gonna slam into the basket. Sorry, but I don't know. I can't wait from like I mean the way they announced it, they did a really good job of like what to expect and all that. And so I'm like, all right, I know they're not gonna like. I'm like right now we're all just waiting. Like we all really care about is date and price of PS5. That's it. So I was like, I went into this one. It's different than Nintendo stuff where it's like, all right, we know you got some shit coming, and like you're not waiting for a new console. We want to know what the games are you have for this console. And if that was the case, if that was this any other year, I think we would be a little more anticipated. This would be a little more disappointing. But it's like, I came into it, I'm like, all right, I just got no expectations. I'm like, if I come away blown away, I'll be happy. I don't think I can come away mad or sad. And I'm kind of with you. I'm just in the middle of this one. Like the Crash Bandicoot stuff was pretty cool. The one thing that I audibly gasped was that, oh my god, was when I figured out like it was Braid was there when they were showing. Like I figured it out within like 5 seconds. I saw the puzzle on the desk, and I'm like, oh fuck, we're getting Braid 2. I was so excited.
That's what people thought too.
Yeah, I'm just like, I can't believe he's doing it. I can't believe that. Then I saw it. I'm like, oh, it's Braid. I think I'd still. I mean, depending on the price point and all that, like, and the time it comes out, but like, I can see myself probably picking it back up because I love Braid, and that's a fantastic game. Out, like the early days of like indies, making a big deal. So
I understand. I mean, between the Braid reveal and like the Spelunky 2 reveal in terms of this whole like state of play and stuff, I wasn't as excited about either one. Only because for one, I never really played too much of the original Spelunky, and with Braid, I'll be perfectly honest with you. With Braid, I never really got into it back in the day. It kind of like bored me because I was not playing. I pretty much did not play the game to its full extent. I only played it for some extent, got stuck, didn't come back to it, and that was back when I played it on the 360. Tried playing it again this year. Same thing happened. So when I looked at the announcement for a Braid remaster, and it's pretty much, okay, the game looks prettier, and all this other stuff. It's releasing on PS4, PS5, or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, at least the Braid fans are going to be happy.
Yeah, no, I'm curious because there's been like I've talked before like the last few years with like there's obviously been a few good ones like Celeste and shit like that out there, but it's like the great indie games have been like fewer and far between over the and it's like they're not even really like the indie games they used to be. It's just like they're like the upper echelons of like they're like the triple indie is what they call them sometimes. It's like those guys are the ones that broke out last generation are like one step below being AAA or in that echelons, and it's like I don't know, like they're very few and far between, and that helps. It's part of that factor is like 15 new games that get released every day, but I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know because it's like Outlast. I love Outlast. We both love Outlast, but it's I like any game that was like Outlast for a while there. Like for the next couple of years, I was excited to play, and it's like even by the time Outlast 2 came out, I'm just like I'm burnt out on these type of games. And I remember like Braid came out for like. After that, there was like and like Limbo and all those games. Like every time one of those big games came out, there'd be a dozen ripoffs over the next few years. I'd play them, and like, oh fuck yeah, because you want to like, recreate that magic you felt from those games. It's like, all right, I don't like this anymore, or I don't like this. So it's like, I don't know. I'm curious if that magic is still there at Braid for me. If it's gonna be 13 years later. So, but I don't know. But yeah, it was. I enjoyed that one a lot. So I'm hopeful, but I was hoping for a Braid 2. But anyways, the Vader stuff, I've heard some pretty good things about, but depending on price point, it's like I want to check out my VR. I want to check out more VR games, but it's like the games are so expensive when they come out. It's just like my fucking VR is in a box in my closet. It's like I don't want to get like just putting the shit together is a pain in the ass. And then I don't want to I'm scared to get sick, so it's like I don't know. I'm just gonna wait. It's like I want to play Iron Man, but I want to pay $50 for Iron Man. Kind of shit. The control thing, like I said, I'm interested in checking that out. I still need to put the first expansion. but I just like I can't remember how to. I don't remember how to do anything in that game. Like there's so many fucking, you have so many moves and powers and shit you have. It's like it took me a couple hours. I need to play the game for a few hours probably before I can even jump in the expansion. Just remember how to do anything. Like I said, Temtem, whoever made that game, they need to be sued. I don't know, like. Oh, I just came away from like, I mean, all this stuff I just came like, I'm not necessarily interested in. I don't think there was like a lot like, and some of the stuff they spent a lot of time on, I was just like, ugh, like Godfall we already talked about. Pathless, I'm in a weird spot where it's like when it first was revealed, I'm like, okay, this looks kind of cool. And then they talked more about it. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look very cool. And then they showed more gameplay. I'm like, all right, this looks really cool. And then it was like a roller coaster. And then it's like, by the end, I'm like, oh, okay, that might be all right. That might be cool. So I don't know. That's going to be one of those games where it's like, I want to see more on, hear more about. And then time it comes out and price point are going to be probably the deciding factor for me if I get that game or not, depending from where I'm at right now. But I don't know. I came out of it that Eon Must Die looked kind of cool, I thought, but I was just like, it sounds pretty shitty what happened to the developers of that game.
Yeah.
The other one, the pedestrian, the bathroom sign guy doing that looked kind of cool. I actually thought that was kind of interesting. I don't remember there was a date for that or not. But I thought that looked pretty cool. But overall, I came away from like in the middle, like nothing blew me away. Some interesting stuff, but it's like I feel like we're definitely in that point where it's like they're holding on. We're still in that chicken game right now. Here soon, we're not going to know anything big until, at least from first party standpoint, until we get a date and a price for everything. But
well, hopefully we'll know by the end of August.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Hopefully we know in the next couple weeks, but I don't know. I could see them fucking pushing this shit until almost October. They probably could. I mean, the consoles are gonna sell out regardless. Whether they're $600, $500, they announce the dates the day before.
Exactly.
They're gonna sell out
regardless.
regardless.
Waiting for so long.
Well, yeah, but also, they're waiting because they want to see who will go first, who will break down go first. But
right.
I don't know. It's frustrating for a consumer because like I need to know, like I had the money put away. It's like I need to know, like I want to get this money. I want to, and more of the anxiety of like, am I gonna be able to get one at launch kind of thing. It's like I just want to like not worry that they're gonna like announce it and then the pre-order comes out and it's like I don't know. It's just more of the anxiety of like, am I gonna be able to get one of these things at launch than anything else for me. But moving on to some other news here. Pikmin 3 with Deluxe was officially revealed with a date for October 30th. It's going to have, they added co-op for the whole story mode, and they're adding some new side story missions. All the DLC from the original game is going to be on there, which it sounds like just like little mini missions and like little arcade stuff. There's a new difficulty option that's added, as well as they added on lock-on targeting. There's going to be more hints, and you can play the game at a more relaxed pace is what they said. So yeah, it's coming out October 30th, $60. I don't know, Gables, like this is I've talked about this many times before, and it's been known for a while that like this game's been done, it's just sitting somewhere on someone's hard drive forever, and it was just Nintendo was waiting to reveal and release it because they didn't know what the hell their plans are for the rest of the year. But I don't know, Gables, what do you think about this whole thing, and what do you see Nintendo for the rest of the year?
I'm happy with the reveal. Yeah. I mean, I'm very happy because, for one, that gets it out of the way. Pikmin 3, like you said before, we've known that it has been on the back burner for when Nintendo can release it for a long while. I was definitely happy that there was a stealth announcement out of nowhere. What struck me as odd is it's not releasing until October. I was not a fan of that. I mean, October 30th, yes. Yes, I can understand that being part of their fall lineup and stuff. For the rest of the year, I'm still not sure what they're going to do for the rest of the year, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to want to release something major in September, maybe another one in October. November's going to be a big one, hopefully, if they even want to get some sort of market space between Xbox and PlayStation, because I'm highly thinking that both of those consoles will release inside the month of November. I am very curious how the next couple weeks are going to be playing out, because I still highly believe that Nintendo's going to be going through with some other types of announcements by the end of this month. There have been a bunch of rumors that have been suggesting perhaps there will be more announcements for Nintendo content. But then again, like I said before, it's rumor. It's taken with a grain of salt. I'm definitely taking a grain of salts with anything that Nintendo's announcing, as well as what Sony or Microsoft's going to be going through announcing with their next gen consoles with PS5 and Xbox One X. But sky's the limit right now for what Nintendo's going to do for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know. Like I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, that date. Something came out that date last year, and I looked it up, and it was Luigi Mansion 3 came out on this date last year. So it's in that slot. I'm like, okay, but it's not as big or exciting, I don't think, maybe as Luigi Mansion 3, because it was Elm 3 was a new game, and this is a re-release of a 2013 game, 2013 game. So I don't know. I think they'll be so well do fine, because for a lot of people they never played this game. I'm not a big Pikmin fan, so I'm not really super excited about it. But it gives me some hope with that date where, like, okay, maybe we'll see something, because, like, Pokemon came out a few weeks after that. They usually like to have like a decent size September and like August game, but I don't see an August game coming out this year, unless maybe they shadow drop something. But it can't be anything too big. And then September they usually have usually in August and like September they have like a decent sized direct where they always like, because that's usually like the anniversary of like when the NES or the Switch Online thing happened. So like last year they announced Super Nintendo stuff for September. So I wonder if we'll get something here soon. But I don't know. I mean, it gives me hope that we'll get something. I'm with you though. Like when I saw October 30th, that makes me a little more nervous that maybe we won't have anything else big. Maybe it's gonna be. I think we'll get the Mario 3D World re-release or deluxe, whatever they want to call it. And that'll probably be the November game. Sadly, like it came out in November 2013. It's gonna get destroyed by the new consoles and overshadowed even more so this time being a deluxe edition. But
hell, I'd be more accepting if Nintendo didn't release any types of say new games for the rest of the year. I would be happy, say, if they just released a bunch of their remastered stuff, like the whole Mario game aspect.
Yeah.
Pikmin 3, there we go. And even, like, say, a Metroid Prime trilogy. Hell, that'd be fucking cool, too.
yeah, because like the Metro Prime trilogy, that was an interesting one, because I remember that rumor was that game's been done for a while, too. So maybe that's another big one they can release in, like, September, because, like, I mean, they announced Paper Mario, like 6-8 weeks before it launched. They're announcing this one about 2.5 months before launch. So I mean, they can easily announce it and say it comes out in September, like late September, and it'd be fine. And then maybe just not have anything. Maybe the Deluxe Mario 3D World is the big thing for November. But man, they can't make it too much longer without an update for the future, because it's like if we go into 2021 and we don't really have anything else big, like I think we need before the end of the year. I mean, that's all right, because I mean, I definitely think you're right. Where it's like once those new consoles come out, it's like anything they release, unless they got something super huge, it's probably gonna be overshadowed. Unless they got like the next 3D Mario game or Pokemon game, which really the only big thing they have for Pokemon that we know about is the second half of the DLC. Yeah, I think I'm with you. Or maybe they're just gonna take. They're gonna. I mean, we're gonna get to it here in a second, but it's like they really don't have to do anything big this year. They're doing perfectly fine. So maybe maybe we get that Metroid trilogy, we get the Pikmin 3, and then we get the Mario bundle, or we get just Mario 3D World. Because anything else, I mean, the rest of after October, I don't see anything they do is just going to get overshadowed. And then hopefully maybe sometime this year we get like a big update. Maybe December they do a big direct, and then they announce they give us like Breath of the Wild 2, because the rumor for that was like early 2021, like a March 2021 game, but who knows that was before COVID, so who knows. But speaking of Nintendo, I love how Nintendo, like, they just like give you all the information. I wish Xbox and PlayStation were more upfront. Like I remember, like I think PlayStation's like the PS4 sold like 121 million consoles now, but they don't really give big updates outside of like big landmark sales for games. But Nintendo came out and they talked about like sales overall are up 500% year over year. The Switch has now sold 61.44 million units, and they're about this is as of June 30th. So they were about 500,000 behind the NES for most sales, and then they're about 40 million behind the Wii U at that, or the Wii, not the Wii U. Holy shit, the Wii at that point. So they're probably at this point. I mean, in the 6 weeks since then, they probably passed the NES, but they also gave out some sales information on their games. And where did I? Oh my god, I lost. Give me a second here. I'm sorry, I had it. Oh fuck, I did not save it. But they gave out some information on the. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna find it. Switch. I thought I saved the thing for like the individual sales. Switch sales.
I know they released their hardware and their software sales all together.
Yeah. Is this it? I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to save that. Shit. I don't know. A few things they did talk about was like the Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics came out in, I want to say, June. Sold over 1 million copies. Xenoblade came out May 29th. The Definitive Edition sold 1.3 million copies. They sold over 5 million Switches this last quarter. A little over 3 million of those were the regular Switch, and then 5.68 million Switches sold this quarter. 3 million were regular Switches. 2.6 million of them were Switch Lites, and probably would have sold way more if they were able to keep them in stock. Also, the what's the fucking exercise game they had?
Ring Fit.
That's sold over 4 million copies, and that's been one of the most like sought after games since everything went to shit. Like, so I mean, that thing probably would have sold way more if it had actually been in stores able to buy. Because I remember like talking about that game was like it was like, I think it was like going for like $300-400 on like eBay and stuff. So the game, a lot of people have been wanting that game. Okay, so here we go. I found the article. Sorry about that, guys. We have the top 10 selling games for the Switch as of June 30th. Super Mario Deluxe, or Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, sold 7.44 million. Splatoon 2, 10.71 million. Super Mario Party, 10.94. The Pokemon Let's Go games at 12.2. Mario Odyssey at 18. Pokemon Sword and Shield 18.2. Breath of the Wild 18.6. Smash Brothers at 19.99. Animal Crossing already at 22.4. And then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still number one, 26.7 million sold. So they're doing impressively well. Crazy to think. I mean, Gables, you put like how many hours into Animal Crossing at this point?
Let's see. For Animal Crossing, it's getting close to the whole Fire Emblem Three Houses, actually, in terms of that. And that was at least about 150 or something hours I got.
Yeah.
For Animal Crossing.
I've heard about people putting. I mean, they're put like close to like 300-400 hours.
Two personal friends of mine, like one's at like 400 and something, and the other one's like at 600 hours.
Jesus Christ, that's nuts. So I mean, people bitch about Nintendo for what they're not telling us, but I mean, they don't have to tell us anything because they're doing so well right now. I mean, that's fucking nuts. I mean, 3 games have already outsold, or already over 20 million. I don't think. I mean, I know I wish like PlayStation, Xbox give us more sales information, because I like to know how many of their exclusives like line up with this, because this, I mean, is extremely impressive. When you think about right now, there is, I think the Wii U ended up with like 13.5 million, and as of June 30th, there's already 6 games for the Switch that have outsold by at least 5 million the Wii U itself. So,
and the console itself is like at its halfway point of its life cycle.
Yeah, hopefully, if not longer. Yeah, that's fucking nice. And also like the Yoshi's Woolly World. Was it Woolly World, that one that came out last year? Is that what it's called? Crafted World.
It's Crafted World, actually. You're thinking of the
Crafted
Wii U game.
I'm thinking of the Wii one. I like that one, but this I didn't really care for Woolly World, and I think a lot of people didn't either. But that one surprisingly only sold like 1.8 million. And then the Kirby Star Alloys is like about the same number. So, I mean, those are probably the 2 biggest, and I'm using quotations here, disappointments of the Switch, where like it seems like anything they put out sells super duper well. Yeah, but this fucking thing's just been a console. Obviously, I mean, we know already, but it's a juggernaut. Already outsold the Xbox One from everything we know. But I mean, I think just Animal Crossing has been out for, at that point, three full months. April, May, June. Yeah, 3 full
Yes.
months, and it's. I mean, I don't know. That thing is probably going to outsell, probably catch up if not pass Mario Kart 8 Deluxe by the end of the year.
I would not be surprised. I'll give you a good perspective. At the store that I usually shop my games at, they usually have like, oh gosh, I've watched Animal Crossing New Horizons since it released in March. Copies of that game, they would fill their cost like their freaking Kasaic with maybe like 7 to 8 copies of that game, and routinely it'd be almost depleted by the end of the week, or even like close like a couple days.
Yeah,
Eesh. It just shows you how popular the game is and much how much quality is put inside that game to where people are like, hey, you know what? I can do with something a little bit happy, in terms of this moment. Because that's how I was when I picked up Animal Crossing New Horizons. I spent a good solid few months playing this game, chalking up close to 150 hours, getting my stuff done. I still go to it from time to time because it's fun just to go through and just reorganize some stuff, create some shit, and whatever. And yeah, Nintendo's got a major, massive hit. I know COVID had a lot to do with like some people going through and like immersing themselves inside that game, but it's a pretty damn good game.
yeah. I'd like to. I wish there was like I could look at alternate universe where like COVID didn't happen. Well, I'd like to see that alternate universe in general and just live there. But if we could live there and then see like how Animal Crossing would have done in a regular year, I think this thing would still would be 10 plus, maybe 15 million at this point, or maybe I don't know, maybe not 15, but it'd be really high. I think it'd be, maybe not Odyssey numbers 18, but it'd probably be that 14, 15 million level. But I mean, that game has been like the perfect game for this year. Like that game came out at the perfect time. Like 2 weeks, a week after everything went to shit. Like it's just perfect launch time. Like they couldn't line it up any better. But I mean, it's incredible to see. And it's exciting to see stuff like that. Like, I mean, just trying to find the positives in this negative time. That's awesome. How that game is doing, and it's like I wish that's a game I could be more into. And I'm fucking ecstatic for those people that do love that game. But like, it's crazy to think that like you can realistically see that 6 different games could be at 20 plus million by the end of the year. We're already at 2.
Yeah.
You can assume that Smash Brothers Ultimate at 19.99 is probably sold that last 10,000 copies in the last 6 weeks. But I'd like to see the number. Like, I wonder if the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe numbers, because like that's been their big bundle game with their console the last two holiday seasons. Like they just reuse that bundle every holiday season, like the last 2 years, which you never see, but they've done that. Like I wonder if those those numbers go into this 26.74. I imagine it does. So it's like take out that bundle. I wonder where that game would be. Like I think it'd still do obviously really, really well, but I mean who knows? Like Animal Crossing Horizon straight up might surpass copies sold at a store without the bundle. I bet that Animal Crossing would surpass Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But speaking of games that came out on March 20th, Doom they announced the expansion. They gave a little teaser trailer with a 30-second teaser trailer. They're gonna give the first gameplay for it on August 27th, the first day of Gamescom. So that's gonna be the big. I think that might be the latest we'll go. I can't see us going any later than that really with the PS5 and Xbox announcements.
Yeah.
Something big's gonna happen there, I think. Or there's gonna be some big stuff I think there because Jeff Keighley's like push like this summer of game stuff. Like that's the grand finale. So I see some big things coming out of that. But yeah. I don't know. I mean, I bought the deluxe edition. It was like $80, and it came with because it has this is part 1. There's 2 parts. It's called the Ancient Gods. But it's like honestly, it's kind of weird game. But the more I think about Doom Eternal, like coming out of that game, like the lesser I think of it. It's like I'm gonna play this when it comes out because I bought it. But it's like I don't know. It's like my opinions on Doom Eternal have lessened. How much I love that game has gone down quite a bit since it's been out. But I don't know. I mean, like I know you bought it. You've played a few hours of it. I don't know. Like, is there anything you can do that might see you jump back into it?
To be perfectly honest with you, if I wasn't distracted with about 10 other different games, I'd probably be playing Doom Eternal right now. And the only reason why I haven't played through the game and finished it up is because I have other types of distractions. There are other games that are vying for my attention that I feel are more deserving of it right at this moment, but I still want to finish it. If the expansion stuff are fantastic and add on to the gameplay and other types of things to make it an even better representation of what it is, then yeah, of course I'm going to get that stuff and play through it. But at this moment in time, it's like, I'm just at a wait and see approach.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed Doom Eternal. I don't hate the game. I mean, obviously, I think I love the game still, but um, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what it is. Hopefully, it's worth it. But then, last but not least, here, I mean, it's been a couple of little mini notes, but I don't want to spend too much time on this one. I just want to cover real fast. But Call of Duty, like, they're probably gonna announce their game in the morning. It's Sunday night as we're recording this, and there's like they sent these like boxes out to people. It says don't open until I think like 9 o'clock Eastern time Monday morning on August 10th. So that will probably, by the time you guys listen to this, you probably already know what it is. But it's like, I don't know. It's not really exciting because like we already pretty much know everything about this game at this fucking point. It's like we already know it's Black Ops Cold War. Any doubt of it was ruined by a Doritos bag. And then Xbox, like the Xbox Series X controllers have leaked out over the last couple weeks. And like today, like some packaging came out of the box that the Xbox controller comes in, and it says Xbox Series S and X on the box. So, I mean, two things we pretty much know everything about. And it's just, I mean, it's growing more and more obvious that these things are real. But the last thing I want to talk about is Rocksteady, who makes all the Batman Arkham games. They officially revealed, it's been, I mean, this speaking, things we've already pretty much known for years, but they have revealed that they are making a Suicide Squad game, and they put out a screenshot of Superman with like red eyes, and there's a target on his head, and it says Suicide Squad. And like the rumor, one of the titles thought for this game could be Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. And they're going to talk about that at DC Fandom on, I think, August 22nd. So in about 2 weeks away. I don't know. I mean, Gables, like, we both love the Batman games. I don't know. Are you excited for the next Rocksteady game? If it is the fact that it's Suicide Squad.
To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not really too familiar with the whole concept behind the Suicide Squad, but at the same time, I'm interested in seeing what Rocksteady does with the game in and of itself. They are definitely known in terms of packing in a lot of like reminiscent quality stuff. They definitely go through and cite the source material quite well, in my personal opinion. I mean, Arkham Asylum, when that game came out, it was all sorts of full with love and care in terms of past Batman villains, Batman experiences, this and that. I hope the same type of stuff occurs with this supposed Suicide Squad game. That's one thing that I'm wondering about is like the quality of the game. If they reveal it, if they do reveal it and stuff, I hope we do see some bit of gameplay of it. But what's also interesting is what's going to be the publishers going to help fund this game, because we already know about Warner Brothers Interactive that's been trying to, Warner Brothers in and of itself trying to sell off a lot of its subsidiary stuff and merge a lot of their different companies into one umbrella, pretty much. And with that in mind and stuff, even though like Warner Games and stuff has been highly profitable for them, I'm kind of wondering if this is going to which major publishers are going to go under. Is it going to go in EA or Activision? Or is it going to be one of the other like console makers, like a Microsoft or PlayStation? I mean, that's the second thing that I want to know about in terms of this next game that Rocksteady does. Because depending upon publisher, I feel like the quality is going to dip or improve in regards to what type of not what type, but like which publisher is going to get their hands upon the Warner Brothers games license and stuff. But we won't know until the whole DC experience stuff goes on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm with you where it's like, but there's like the report came out today that like, now the new thing is that maybe WB doesn't want to sell Rocksteady, WB Montreal, and NetherRealms. They're three most profitable companies, probably the three biggest companies they own for the gaming side. So I don't know. Like, I feel like we'd be more excited about this had like Suicide Squad the movie had done better. Where it's like, all right, like the movie came out and it wasn't very impressive. No one really. It came out. A lot of people hated it.
Yep, the
But
Suicide Squad, the Birds of Prey, those movies.
well,
did
Birds
not.
of Prey was pretty good, but I feel like the Suicide Squad movie really hurt it. Where it's like, I actually, Courtney and I watched it a few weeks ago, and surprisingly thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like that hurt. I mean, it probably would have been better off if they just never, if the Suicide Squad movie didn't come out. I think it'd be a little probably better off than the fact it did come out. And just the whole DC where the movies are in general have not been great. It's like people are excited about the the game coming out because of how great the Marvel movies have been. Like, that's 90% of the fanfare behind it is the fact that Marvel's been kicking ass on these movies for over a decade now. And it's like the DCU has been pretty bad, and it's like they're essentially like rebooting already. It's like they're coming out like now, like the Justice League movies, getting a different version coming out next year. So it's, I don't know, like I think that, I mean, it's silly that they shouldn't affect it, but they do. I don't know. And also the fact that it's games as a service, I mean, that personally does suck, I think, a little bit. And yeah, well, if they do get sold, like, well, how's that going to affect things? Is this game going to come out and then 2 years from now it can be just left to die, or are they going to keep it going? How's that going to work out? So yeah, I don't know. Wait and see. I want to see more of it, but it sounds like what we're going to get for this at the DC fandom is a probably like a teaser trailer, because it sounds like it's years off. And then the WB Montreal game, which is supposed to be a Batman game, that one's a little closer, but it sounds like we're not supposed to expect much from those either. So I don't know what to wait and see. Like, the people, this has been a big thing people will talk about. They've been doing weird teases for these games for like over a year now on Twitter, and like really bad teases, and then just months of silence, and then they'll tease something and then months of silence, and so it's been fucking weird. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, they come out and it blows us away, and we're a little more excited. But I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, wait and see. But I think, Gables, that one's gonna wrap it up for us this week.
All right.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening. We're at all the places: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, iTunes, Google, where do you listen? Google Podcasts. Excuse me, I just burped. Spotify. Pretty much everything. If you want to check us out in those places, Twitch, YouTube, Drunk Dash Nerds, Drunk Nerds Pod, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast, whatever. Look us up all those places. Like, follow, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, review, whatever you can do to help us. We really appreciate it if you would do those for us. Thank you guys so much for listening. I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, I hope you have yourself a fantastic week. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you wear your masks. But most importantly of all of that, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Oh, hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.